So this is a video that's not going to make me popular with anybody. I know this from experience. Saying that you're an atheist when your audience is primarily conservative or libertarian leaning is not very popular, and saying that you're pro-life is not popular with atheists. So it's kind of a lose-lose. But I think that this is an important video to make, because when I talk to people about the U.S. election, one of the biggest issues is abortion. And so I'm going to put my 2 cents in on it. Now, I think that this topic is less complicated than it needs to be when it comes to putting an atheist with the pro-life belief. And I'm going to go ahead and add that I do believe in, there's some exceptions, rape and incest, but I think that there needs to be a limit on how long you can wait before that baby is aborted. I think that it would need to be like 6 weeks, like far before that baby could feel pain, when you could still use a pill, I think, in those cases of exemption. And then, of course, the life of the mother. If the mother's life is in danger, she has the right to decide if it's herself or her child that is lost. I think that that's morally correct. But now when you start talking about this topic as an atheist, the thing that almost everyone wants to bring up is, how do you know that something's right or wrong? And I don't think we really need to get into the philosophical side of it, other than to say, with all of the philosophers that came before, Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson, Bertrand Russell, and so on, when you talk, that talked about morality extensively, we all came to an agreement that there's 3 basic human rights: the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to the pursuit of happiness. Those are the fundamental human rights. And the only thing left in this discussion is to determine what is an unborn child. And I agree with Christopher Hitchens, very famed atheist writer, debater, and figure in the new atheist movement, when he said, I believe that the concept of an unborn child is just that. It is an unborn child. I agree. What else could it be? Now, particularly when you think about how abortions are performed, tearing the child limb from limb, while they writhe in pain, that's a horrifying concept. They pull off the legs, they pull off the arms, they pull off the head, and then eventually they pull out the body. And then they count up the parts and toss them. And in fact, there's a lot of debate about this. People say, oh no, it doesn't really happen, but, selling those parts for use in other scientific endeavors. When you think about it in those terms, well, for me, something that really pushed me over the edge on this, my daughter was a preemie. My daughter was born at an age where in many states it would have been legal to still abort her, and yet here she is. She had very little trouble at the beginning. She had a little bit of trouble with her suck and swallow reflex, but very quickly, we brought her home after just a few days, and she's doing magnificently. When, as a medical professional, I've done work in a major hospital in the NICU, the neonatal ICU. And these are babies that are born in the late 20 weeks, or even mid to late 20 weeks. They're put in incubators, and my job as a therapist was to go help with positioning and to teach them, suck, swallow, breathe reflexes, to give them skin-to-skin contact as they need it, feed them, just properly nurture those babies. And when you sit and look at those babies at the state that they're in, and you think, in every state where abortion is legal, many of those babies could have been aborted. And you watch them grow. They're in the hospital for several months, and then when they finally come out and they get to go home with their parents, you see the joy on the parents. And then, months later, when the parents come back to visit and bring the baby, or they come for checkups, and you get to see them, and you think it would have been legal to kill that baby. That's not okay. that is depriving another human of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the concern of a mother who feels she shouldn't be a parent at this time is definitely secondary to the life of that baby. And I believe that that's true in all cases with a few exceptions. Like I stated before, the life of the mother, rape and incest, I think you've got to have some sort of a line in the sand when it comes to things like, you know, a 12-year-old girl being raped by her uncle, for example, which is a horrifying thing. As a victim of sexual abuse, by the way, when I was a child, I can say that would be an incredibly traumatic thing, and that I understand the argument and I empathize with the argument that if that girl is forced to bear that child, that's going to be a never-ceasing source of trauma for her. Obviously, when it's found that that's the case, then that's a discussion that needs to happen case by case. What's not right is people do this, people that use abortion as a form of birth control. That is not right. The safe, legal, and rare argument is one that I can compromise with. But I do characterize myself as pro-life, and I am an atheist, and I think that there are quite a few more of us than you would expect. The loudest screeching atheists are generally moral relativists or utilitarians, and it's a very bad look. But I will say, you know, give me your thoughts on this. I am more than prepared for a stream of hate to come at me for this video, because that's usually what happens when I talk about either of these topics. The fact that I'm an atheist or the fact that I'm pro-life, I get a lot of pushback on those things. But if you did like it, let me know that too. I'd like to know. I'm guessing that if anybody does watch this, it's going to be a primarily negative reaction. So those positive reactions are nice to see. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time.